Collins is killing healthcare. Collins is gutting the VA. We spent $588 million when he saw his buddies burned up in a tank. And yet our numbers are not changing, Shawn. We let 2,400 people go about 3 weeks ago. And all of a sudden, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, all the legacy media, the Hill, senators and others, union members, Collins is killing healthcare. Collins is gutting the VA. Collins is calling it. And then they'll say, well, and they'll find somebody who said they had their surgery that was put off or that their appointment was rescheduled. None of the people we fired were publicists, interior designers, laborers. I mean, this is what we're talking about here. How has your surgery been put off because an interior designer was laid off? It wasn't. It's a lie. But what we have is, you know what's interesting though? If you'd gone back to January 15th of this year and that same surgery had been put off, it would have never made a headline.
Yeah.
Because now we're doing something. So now we just got to start trimming those out. Forward facing, with the healthcare, with our benefit side, that's not the areas we're looking at. We're looking at, I think somebody told me the other day, think about this. We have almost 16,000 contract agents. Contractors, all they do is contracts. 16,000? Really? Let's take a look and see if we need 16,000 contract agents. Let's see if we need 5 and 6 levels of bureaucracy in some of these situations. And instead, take those money, redirect it back to where it needs to go. Then you're going to be able to get, bit quicker access. Then you're going to be able to cut. Oh, by the way, I'm also going to look at, if there's 10 sheets of paper for you to get in, let's see if we can do that with 4 sheets of paper. Let's see if we can ask better questions and get better results.
Let's talk about the suicide.
Let's do.
What do you want to say about that?
Whatever we have been doing for the last 5 years, for whatever good there was, and there's been some, explain to me how in the past 5 years, 6 years of budgets, we spent approximately $15 billion, and the number is basically unchanged. We spent $588 million, $588 million on preventive supposed suicide. We spend $2.3 billion in what we'll call treatment of either the mental aspect, health aspect of that, issues that they've had with hurting themselves, other things like that. $2.3 billion. So $3 billion total, roughly, in suicide. And yet our numbers are not changing, Shawn. We go from a low of about 6,400 up to almost 7,000 a year. Now, you made mention earlier of what's the real number. That's an arguable debate. And I've heard this, from others. It actually may be 25, 30, depending on how you classify overdose and how or also, frankly, in rural communities. I grew up in a rural community. Suicide is something you don't talk about. And you get some of these medical examiners and coroners in these smaller counties, they'll call it accidental or something else. So we may not know because it's just that stigma of suicide that's attached. So what I'm looking at here is what's actually working. What we're doing, frankly, in just all fairness, ain't working. You can't do that much this long and say it's working. So what we're trying to do now, and what I'm beginning to do, is I want to know why that $588 million is going for. I want to know what are we supposedly doing to. And don't just tell me you're putting a Facebook ad out there. Don't tell me that you're, running, the call the crisis line number out there, which are all fine and good. But where are we at actually hitting to the members who are listening to your podcast, who have no want to go to the VA? Because here's the other part of that. Whether the number's 17 or the number's 24 or even higher, the statistics are pretty good that say that 50% of those folks have never been touched by the VA. 50%. That's just unacceptable. So one of the things I'm starting right here with you, I'm starting with other things that we're going to be doing. I'm trying to reach that veteran who's sitting out there who's saying, screw the VA. I went over there one time and they didn't even treat me like I was human. Or that was their perception. Look, everybody's got a perception. And, that may be your perception that you wasn't treated well. It may have been a bad day for them, bad day for you. But then they're sitting in their home and they're self-medicating, or they're, going off doing destructive things. They're going to end up to the point where they don't see a reason to go on. But if they listen to your podcast, if they listen to somebody, I'm going to sit here and say, look, folks, let's get help. Let me send somebody. Go to an organization you trust. Call your battle buddy. Call your airman. Call your wingman. Whoever it is. We got to get out of this stigma that we don't touch people that are saying they have problems. I mean, think about your friend that you just talked about. He's not going to run out in the front yard and say, hey, I'm really not able to function today. They're not going to do that. But we got to find them. We got to hit ways that people like his wife and others have the ability to reach out to somebody and say, here's real ways we can help. And get back to the simple fact of, hey, are we actually treating this as what it is? And that is a serious condition brought on many times by things that were out of their control or what they saw or what they did. I was in Nashville today at National Songwriters Association. Some folks I've known for years who write country music songs. They write songs all over the world for stuff you hear on the radio all the time. And there's a couple of organizations that work with veterans, American Song, there's some others where they get veterans together and who have had years of not being able to express themselves, they feel isolated. And they get them down, they start talking with other veterans, and they start writing a song. They say, write a song. And they show them and talk to them about how to do that. I had a veteran today who told me, he said, been married 50-something years. He said, I was in Vietnam. He said, my wife never hardly knew anything about what happened. He said, I just didn't talk about it. And he said, 10 years ago, somebody finally got to me, and he said, I sat down and I wrote this song. He said, and it was not the song itself, it's the action of putting it on paper. And he says, now I'm able to talk to her. I'm able to release that. There's another gentleman, this is a Vietnam vet, there's another gentleman there who, again, his kids, and you know the saying, how many times do people want to say, tell me a war story, Shawn, tell me what you did, tell me what's cool. This guy was saying, he said he didn't want to talk about it. And his kids would ask him, well, Granddad, Dad, what are you doing? And he couldn't talk about it. He got in this position. In a power of a song where he wrote down what happened to him at Tet way back when he saw his buddies burned up in a tank. When he saw that, and you could see it as if it was today in his eyes. But then he was able to say, if you want to know it, then listen to this song. Listen to the words that I wrote down. That's a totally different way to look at this stuff. We've got to reach the veteran where they are. And if it's hunting, let's take them, let's match them with somebody that can talk to them and get them out on a duck blind somewhere, or get them out in the field. If they want to do exercise, let them do that. Or if they just want to sit and get coffee, or they want to, go have a beer, do something. Instead of just spending $588 million on programming, let's see if our programming is actually being effective. I'm just not going to sit here. I may do a lot of things right and a lot of things wrong in the next few years, but I will tell you this, I will not sit here for the next 4 years and spend that amount of money and do the same damn thing.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.